This is you before watching this video, creating a boring looking invoice, changing the text here, and finally sending it to the client. This is you after watching this video. Click continue, wait for 5 seconds. A custom aesthetic invoice is now built and you can send it to your client. I'm Aaron. I help businesses save hundreds of hours by optimizing their business operations with Notion. In this video, I'll be showing you how to generate an amazing looking invoice automatically with one single click. First, in Notion, make sure that you have an invoice database that has all the details that you need in each of your invoices. In my case, I have the issue date, the number of days due, the due date, invoice number, amount, description, and things like that. One thing you need to make sure though is to have the files and media property, which I named it as attachment. This is where your invoices will be stored. If you want this invoice database along with all the other client related features, you can download my business customer relationship management system completely for free. Once you have your database ready, create a button property and I will name mine as create invoice. I'll be using make.com's free plan for this automation, but the steps should be somewhat similar with other automation apps as well. So after you create your account, click on create scenario and you can name the scenario however you like. And these are the 6 modules that you need. So before I get into details, I'll just give you a brief summary on what each of these modules does. The first module is just a way for us to send the data from this database to the make.com using a custom webhook. The second module is how we create the invoice using a certain template. The third one is to convert it to a PDF. The fourth module is to create and upload URL. The fifth one is to actually upload the file. And finally, the sixth module is where we attach the file back to the specific page in the attachment property. So let's create it together. First is the custom webhook. Click on the plus icon here, webhook, and click on custom webhook. Click on add and you can name the webhook however you want. Webhook demo, save, and now you'll see that make is now listening for the data, and if it's saying something like redetermine data structure, click on it until it says stop, and now you're going to copy the address to clipboard, go back to your Notion and click on the create invoice property, click on edit automation, and within here we're going to click on this new action and send webhook right here. Paste the URL inside, just select all existing properties so everything will be sent. Click on save, and now we're going to just test it out by clicking on the create invoice button. And once you go back to here, you'll see that it will say successfully determined. And once you're done, make sure to hit on save and not click away, because if you click away, you'll notice that the module is not saved. To know that you have saved correctly, there shouldn't be a star icon on top. And now we're going to create the second module, which is creating the invoice from a template. The way I get my custom template is through this website here. Also throughout this video, I'll be going through different links, and also there is a little bit of coding, but not to worry, everything will be down in the description below, so you just have to copy and paste. So I just go through this website here and see which one I like, and all I did was just add my logo and also change the color to match my branding. And once I'm done duplicating into my Google Drive, I put it inside a folder called Invoices, and here is my invoice template. So you'll notice that I have all the similar information following the Notion databases, the invoice number, issue date, due date, and things like that. And you'll also see that I'm using the double open and close curly brackets. This is how make.com knows that this is a placeholder that will be replaced dynamically. So since this is a Google Docs file, we will be using the Google Docs module. So just search it up, Google Docs, show more, and the one we'll be using is create a document from a template. And the first thing that you need to do is actually add a connection to your Google Drive where the invoice is saved at. So I'm going to click on add, sign in with Google, and I'm going to select my email, click on continue, and now my Google account has been connected. And the first thing that you need to change is the document ID here. This is where you select the invoice template that you created. So invoices plus and invoice template, just like that. So now you notice that after you selected a template, if you did put the curly brackets correctly, you'll see all the values here that you can change. Okay, so click on the empty field here and you can actually just search the item above. So in this case, I want invoice number. And this is where it gets a little hard, where you don't know which is the one that you need to select. In my case, I know it is the number, but just in case you don't remember. So what we want is actually have the actual value on the right side here, sort of like a dummy data. So what we're going to do is just unlink this webhook and Google Docs module, and we're going to hit on save. And what we're going to do now is just run this scenario once. Okay, and what we're going to do is click on the create invoice button in your Notion database, and now all the value will be sent to the webhook. So you can see here that the properties, and then let's say company or amount, will show the value here. And then what we're going to do is just link it back in, and you'll see that it still doesn't show up. What you need to do is actually just refresh the page first after you have saved, and just refresh and open back up the Google Docs module, and you'll now see that the value will show up. So it makes the selection a lot easier. So invoice would be the number here, so just select this one. Issue date, so issue date, which is this one. I actually don't really like this type of format. I prefer it to be sort of like an actual month, like October, and then the date, and finally the year. So if you don't mind, you can just select this, no problem. But if you want it to be slightly better, so what you could do is actually use the format date feature, which is under the date and time, and this format date over here. So then what we're going to do is just move the cursor to this part here, and now we're going to put the date inside this side here. So date, in this case will be issue date, so put in the start date, the value is this one. And now we're going to move the cursor after the semicolon, and we're going to put in something like this, D, I think space in between, and then Y. If I'm not mistaken, there is no comma here, right? So we're gonna have the month, the full month, so October, December, January, things like that, the date, and finally the full year. So I'm going to do that for the due date as well. I'm just going to copy everything, paste it here, and we're gonna go move our cursor here, press backspace to delete, and we're going to put due date for this. So due date, and I'm going to put the start as well. Okay, like this. So I'll just speed through all of this, something like this, and price. Okay, we don't have price, but we do have amount. All right, number. I think this one is actually the name. So name, in this case, you see how content and plain text is the same. We actually want the plain text. If you select the content, it won't work, if I'm not mistaken. Just to be safe, select the plain text. Ignore the image URL. So for the title, we're actually just going to put the same description. I actually like to just have the last word to be invoice, so space invoice, and that would work. And now we're going to select the new documents location. So just click here to choose folder. I'm just going to select the same invoices. That's up to you. So save. So just to clarify, the new documents location is where you want the documents to be saved in your Google Drive. All right, and the second module is done. And now we're going to create the third module, which is just converting it to a PDF. So click on add another module, Google Docs as well, and this time we're going to use the download a document feature. And the document ID, instead of selecting the file, what we're going to do is use the map feature here, toggle it on, and now we're going to select the documents that we created on the second module. So it's asking for a document ID, so we're just going to type document ID, and you'll be able to find it here. So click on that, and the type we're going to use PDF, just like that, and save. All right, and now the third module has been completed, and now we're going to actually upload and attach the file to the Notion database page. Currently, you'll see that we're only using one Notion module, and then the rest is actually a custom HTTP request module. This is because Make.com still have not updated the Notion module to support the file upload. So that's why we need to use a custom module for this for now. So maybe if you're watching this in the future and Make.com has updated their feature, so I assume next time you just need to use one or two different Notion modules. So if that is available to you now, you can use it. But as of now, unfortunately, this is the only way. So first we need to create the Notion upload link. So we're going to click on add another module, type Notion, and make an API call is the one that we will use. And in this case, you need to add a connection to Notion. So what you're going to do is actually go to this website here. Again, everything is in the description below, and go to integrations and click on new integration. Name the integration however you want. In this case, I will just put automated invoice creation. Select the associated workspace, which is where your database is at, and like this, and now just click on save. All right, integration successfully created. Click on configure integration setting and go back to your billing and invoices database. Make sure that it is the original database and not just a page or a linked view of the database. So in my case, this is a linked view. So go to settings, manage data sources, and actually open the original database. So in here, what we're going to do is click on the top right, the three horizontal dot, and go to connections here, and you'll see your custom made internal integration that you created just now. Click on it. If you can't find it, just search it up, and we're going to click on confirm to connect it. And just like that, we have connected our internal integration with the database. Now go back to your Make.com and add the connection. So add the connection, Connection type will be Notion internal. Connection name, anything is fine. I'll just put generate invoice automatically. And internal integration token, we'll get it from the internal integration secret that you created just now. So just click on show and click on copy, then go back to your make.com and paste it here. Click on save and the connection should be created. Under the URL, we're going to put /v1/file upload. Oops, that's v1. Notion version, you're going to use the latest API version. You can search it up. Currently at this time of the recording, it is 2025 September, I think, and it's 3rd of September. There you go. So exactly like this. It will vary depending on the date that you're watching this video. Method would be post, and everything is done except for this body here. We want to just put a simple curly bracket like this. So just open and close curly bracket and you're done. So click on save and there you go. We are done creating the 4th module. So as for the 5th module, we're now going to upload the file to the Notion cloud. So we're going to add another module, and this time we have to use the HTTP request. So HTTP, and we're going to click on make a request. Authentication type, no authentication. URL, so you notice that you don't see the URL here. So what you need to do is actually just right click this module and just run it only. And now if you still don't see the value like mine here, what you need to do is just click on save so you don't lose anything and just restart, refresh value. And now you should see all of the value here. So in this case, we're going to use the upload URL, and now we're going to use the method post. For the headers, there are 2 specific headers that you need. I'm just going to copy and paste everything. So authorization will be 1, and under the value here, this is where you'll put in your integration secret again. So first you need to type bearer like this, space, and go back here, copy it and paste it here. The second header that you need is the Notion version, which is the latest Notion API version, which again at this time it is this value. Alright, and under here the body content type, you want to select the multi-part form data, which you also see support file uploads. And under the name here, just type in file, and under the file just select the Google Docs download a document, which is the 3rd module where we converted it to PDF, and just hit on save. If you click on save and nothing happens, that's probably because you refresh, and what happens is the authentication type was no longer selected. So just click on it and select no authentication again, and it should be able to save just fine. Alright, so now we're just going to scroll out just to see all of the module, and now we're going to create the last module, which is actually attaching the file that we just uploaded to the Notion cloud to the Notion database page. In this case, we're just going to clone this HTTP module because the headers are exactly the same. So clone, and we're going to just link it together and click inside of it. And now what we're going to do is change this URL here to the page that we want to attach the file to. So again, I'm just going to copy everything. So copy this value here and paste it. Okay, so at the end here, what you need to do is search ID, and we're going to get the ID that we gotten from the webhook. So in this case, it would be under webhook, data, and ID. For the method, we're going to use patch since we are updating the database page. Again, authorization, Notion version would be the same. Under the body content type, we're going to change it to application/JSON. Body input method, we're going to change it to JSON string. And again, I'm just going to copy and paste everything. For the body ID, this is where we're going to put the ID from the API call. So just to be safe, let me just remove it here, and we're going to select the body ID here, just like that. And for the file name, we're just going to put in the value we gotten from the download document PDF. So then click on file name like this, and now we're pretty much done. So click on save, and we got all our 6 module created successfully. Okay, so I forgot to mention just now, but other than changing the ID and the name here, you also need to change your files and media property name here. Since mine is named as attachment, that's why here is attachment, but in case yours is any different, just change it here to match the Notion database property that you have. Okay, so make sure there isn't any star on any of your module. Make sure everything is saved. Click on this save here as well, just so you don't lose everything. And once you're done, it's time to test it. What you're going to do is click on run once, go back to your Notion, and click on the create invoice button. Now just go back to your Make and just see it run through each of the module. Once it goes through successfully, you should see something like this. If it fails, it would have some kind of red icon on top and you can use the information to troubleshoot. But of course, it'll go through without any issues because you're amazing at following instructions. Okay, once you have confirmed everything is working, go back to your Notion and click on the attachment just to make sure again, and you should see something like this. So all the placeholder has been changed to an actual value according to the database, and it looks completely customized according to your branding. Doesn't this just looks extremely amazing? I mean, this is wow. So of course the to and from don't make sense because I selected my actual same data, but in your case the from would be from your company, right? And then the to would be the dynamic data that changes. So now that we have confirmed that everything is working fine, what we're going to do is click on this immediately as data arrives option. Just toggle it on, and run scenario would be immediately. Click on save, and now whenever the webhook receives an information, it will then go through the module and create your invoice automatically. So you can just close out this page and never have to look at it ever again. And now I'll address some of the concerns that you might have with this automation. First, if you want to have multiple lines in your invoice, it is possible, but not through this method. You must do a weird workaround, which is removing the table column and just have one entire column, and using iterators to kind of go through each of the line in your database property and then put a space in between the values, and it's just a lot of stuff. So what I would do is actually just again link this video in the description. It's not mine and it doesn't have a lot of views, but it does seem to be working for him. I'm not sure, I never tested it out, I never need it, but you can try and see if it works for you. Second, if Google Drive space is a concern for you, what you could do is just add another module and then use the Google Drive module, which is going to be the delete a file folder feature. So you can use that to just delete it after you're done uploading the file. And you might also be wondering how many invoices you can create with the free plan. For the Make.com free plan, it gives you 1000 credits per month, and you'll see that each of the module uses 1 credit. So if you take 1000 divided by 6, you'll get up to 166 invoices created per month. This is provided that you only use this one single scenario for your entire Make.com account. Another huge time saver you can use is definitely Notion AI. Click on this video where I compare all of the Notion AI models.